Hello, everyone, and welcome to SCORE Fairfield County's live webinar today on simple search engine optimization secrets for visibility online. I'm Bob Hogan, the webinar coordinator and a business mentor here at SCORE Fairfield County. I'll be your host today, and our presenter today is Jaime Urteaga. And more on Jaime in just a minute, but just first some brief information on SCORE. SCORE is a national organization. We have 320 chapters across the country and over 11,000 volunteers. Locally here at SCORE Fairfield County, we have over 130 volunteers with a wide range of industry, process, and subject matter expertise. And we offer three primary value-added services to small business owners. We offer free one-on-one counseling. That can either be face-to-face, by telephone, email, or video. And if you'd like to take advantage of that free counseling, you can access that via the Request a Mentor link that's on our website, or via the link that we're going to be showing you on the screen. We also offer educational workshops and webinars like the one today, about 150 of those during the year. And thirdly, we have extensive resources on our website, which also includes access to a network of subject matter experts that you can contact. Our next webinar will be 2 weeks from today on Tuesday, October 22nd at noon, and the topic then will be professional employer organizations, solutions for small business owners, with Bill Kemp and Mike DeTuzzi presenting, and you can look for the specifics of that on fairfieldcounty.score.org. We have set aside time for Q&A today at the end of the presentation. If you have a question, please use the chat feature at any time during the presentation. You can access that if you run your cursor over the bottom of the screen. You'll see a little bubble there that says chat. You can click on that and put your questions in there, and Jaime will respond to them toward the end of the presentation. We will end sharply at 1 o'clock. The session is being recorded, and a link to the recording will be available on our website, fairfieldcounty.score.org, within the next couple of days. It's now my pleasure to introduce our speaker today. Jaime Urteaga is a former venture capital funded startup CTO, a consumer behaviorist, and a career technologist. Jaime has over 12 years working in technology and marketing in a number of leadership capacities, including over 5 years running Digital Chair, which is a creative technology agency based out of White Plains, New York. Jaime has an educational background as a professional full-stack developer, and he brings a unique business technology perspective to his clients. It's my pleasure to now turn it over to Jaime. Jaime?
Thank you, Bob. How's it going, everyone? All right, so today I'm going to talk to you guys about SEO. There we go. So I'm going to talk about SEO. I'm going to talk, basics, and then I'm going to jump in with a few actionable insights as I go through. And this is good for people who have their own businesses, people who work for a business that has a website and want to get some SEO, and people who have a little bit of experience, have no experience. I'm going to try to kind of bridge the gap and make it accessible to everyone to understand what I'm going to be talking about today. So since you're here, you've probably heard of SEO. Again, regardless of where you are in your SEO journey, I'm going to try to give you the right information. My goal here is to educate and be helpful. Ask any questions if you have them, and I'll make sure to try to answer those. And again, thank you for watching. And if you have any questions after this webinar, my information is at the bottom, and there's a link to my website there too, and you can ask questions right on there. All right, so some quick background. I think Bob already covered it, but I run a creative technology firm. We help businesses with marketing, websites, custom development, technology, and creative services. Here's the table of contents and what I'm going to be talking about today. So I'm going to introduce SEO, talk about some terminology so I don't lose anyone, some of the basics, how it affects businesses. I'm going to talk about SEO versus different forms of online marketing and offline marketing. I'm going to talk about the Google SERP, which is Google search. When you type something to Google, the results that you see, those are the search engine results. That's the search engine's result page. I'm going to talk about research, what you do, when you're starting your SEO journey for a website. Then I'm going to talk about on-page SEO. I'm going to talk about off-page SEO. On page is going to be the stuff that's on your site. Off page is going to be the stuff that isn't on your site. Technical SEO, that's on your site and it's a little bit more technical. But I'll try to simplify that for everyone. CRO, very, very brief. That's conversion rate optimization. And that's just talking about how to convert people. And that's going to play a role in your SEO as well. But it's also kind of the next step beyond your SEO, and that's converting people on your site. And then just a few extras I'll talk about, legal, licenses, libel, and just stuff to keep in mind as you're embarking on your SEO journey. All right, introduction to SEO. So a couple quick terms. Let's start with SEO versus SEO. So SEO is search engine optimization. So what that means is you optimizing to make your website rank high on search engines like Google. Quick fun tip, which I think I'll cover somewhere in here, but Google is about 80% of the global searches in the world, right? Google is a very, very large player when it comes to search. So it's going to be what I predominantly focus on when I'm talking about search engines, but the stuff that I'm going to be covering actually applies to most search engines. And I'll make some differentiations when it applies to just Google and when it's for everything. SEOs, SEO optimizers, that's people who optimize websites for SEOs, for SEO. So that's just people who work as SEO experts essentially. And I kind of covered conversion rate optimization, but that's optimizing your website to get people who visit your site to take a desired action to convert. And that also goes for optimizing your links on Google to get people to click it, which is the desired action there. And conversions kind of work at every stage of the journey of converting people onto your website and then to become customers. All right, so basics. It all starts with a Google search or some other search engine, like I said. So here I just showed you guys a Google SERP, right? A search engine results page. And you'll see I typed in a digital agency in White Plains, and the first three things you'll see there are ads. You'll see that, I don't know if, can people see my mouse? Mm-hmm. Okay, you'll see that just in that small little corner, it says ad next to the URL of those results. Most people who are using, not most, but a lot of people who are using Google search might not notice that those are ads and might click those, but that's just something to keep in mind. So if there are ads running, you will have, people who will beat your SEO unless you're paying money for ads. So after these ads that are being paid for per click, then you have this pretty map, right? And this is again just on Google that I'm showing you. So on this map, sometimes you'll see an ad. If you have a local business, you're probably not going to see an ad here every time. It really depends on what business you have and how competitive the area you're in is. But most local businesses, in my experience, don't have a lot of ad competition in the Google Map space. So whether you're looking on a Google search or someone's looking directly in maps for, let's say, a restaurant or something else, an accountant or something in the area, they're unlikely to find ads. So if your listing here is high up, which we'll talk about, you don't have to worry about people paying to be on top of you and be ahead of you. And then again, depending on your competition, you might not have as many ads running ahead of you as well. So then here you have organic search engine listings. So this is what SEO does. SEO helps you get these listings here. And these are ranked 1, 2, 3. So in this case, I'm number 3 in the Google search listings page for digital agency in White Plains, but there are maps ahead of me and ads ahead of me. And in some cases, there will be other things ahead of me too, and that's called rich snippets. And I'll cover that a little bit later on too. So being in the top 3, that's a goal. That's what you want to do. And having, copy here that makes sense, having text here that converts the people that are looking for you. We'll cover that as well. So here you see digital chair website design marketing agency. Hopefully that matches what people are searching for and leads them to click. Then you have a description here, which again, hopefully compels people to click, and then some more links below that, a free consultation perhaps, which might be interesting for some people. All right, so when people search online, they typically look on Google for what they're looking for. And this is SEO in businesses, right? They're looking for a service or product. They're looking for something that solves whatever issue they have, right? It might be information, it might be a service, it might be, a plumber, it might be, hey, I need to fix my own, my clogged toilet, or how do I cook something, whatever they're looking for. Google's there to give them those answers, right? So all businesses almost can benefit from being visible when people are searching for something that might relate to their business and might be a good lead for that business. So we're trying to convert that visibility, that ranking, into website traffic and into conversions, which will hopefully finally lead into revenue and customer lifetime value and profit. I mentioned this before. Google has huge global market share on computers for search. So let's talk about SEO versus other things. So I already kind of covered paid ads. Let me talk a little bit more about these and give you some information. So Google Ads Search is what I just showed you. And that covers both the links that you saw here on the left and also the Google Maps listings here. Google Ads Display, that's going to be those banner ads, those little square ads that you see all over the internet on random pages, and Google pays people to show those ads. And there are other competitors as well that do that. Facebook and Instagram ad network, that's going to be ads on Facebook, on Instagram. Their ad network extends out to do the same stuff that Google ads do. And you can see those on just other sites that Facebook and Instagram pay for. Then there's, other social media paid ads, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Snapchat, Spotify. We're not going to talk too much about these, but one key differentiation between this and SEO that I want to make mentions of is two key differentiations. One, you're paying for each of these ads. So you're paying either every time someone sees this ad or every time someone clicks on these ads. With SEO, you're not paying every time people see or click on your ads. What you're doing is you're ranking organically through Google. You're providing value to people, and Google is rewarding you for that value and giving you more visibility and giving you more more places to show up on. But you have to give Google some information to help them put you in the right place to show you to people, and you have to give value to those people. So that's kind of the other side of things. You could either work hard, with Google and other search engines to provide value and to give them the information to show you, or you can give paid ad platforms the information to show you to people that you want to by demographic or psychographic targeting means. Then there's organic social media. I'm not going to talk too much about that, but that's basically putting stuff on social media, integrated marketing, print, press, all the traditional stuff you're going to be used to, TV, radio, Spotify, etc. Again, you're going to be paying for that, so I'm not going to talk too much about that, but it all works together. So you can actually benefit from linking all these things with SEO, because the more traffic that you're getting, the more that your website is going to be shown on Google, because you're going to be building your domain and your page authority by showing it to more people, and by showing Google that you have a site that people are going on to and spending time on and seeing value in. So really all of this does actually have a hand in your SEO. So that's just something else to keep in mind. All right. So I already covered this a little bit. I have 2 slides, so I'll skip this one. Again, ads, Google map listing. The only thing here that I want to mention is I mentioned GMB here. So this map listing actually comes from Google My Business, which I'll cover a little bit more in depth in a couple of slides. And I just wanted to show a different version of the Google SERP, because there are different ways that it'll show up. So sometimes once you get a little bit closer to something that you're searching for, if you're searching for a specific business, you will see a listing for just that business here on the right, and that is the Google My Business listing, which is integrated with Google Maps, and it's integrated with the Google search. And there is a huge benefit to using that, and I'll cover that shortly in more depth, but I just want to point out here that you get to show a photo, you get to have a website link, you get to have directions linked to your map, you have reviews visible right there, hours, phone. It's very easy for people to see your business and to build some trust in your business and to intrigue them. You can actually show offers on here, you can show events on here. And this is a free service that's provided by Google that helps you both on SEO, but it also helps you convert, and it's a really great tool. You can also answer questions and answers. All right, let's talk a little bit about research. So we're going to start the journey into SEO. Before you start any journey, you should know a little bit about where you're trying to go. So I'm going to talk about, and let me see if I can move this. Cool. A little bit about the differences in businesses, right? So depending on the type of business that you have, you're going to be looking at using different tactics in SEO. So if you're a professional services business, lawyer, accountant, architect, plumber, chiropractor, dentist, physician, specialist, etc., here's a couple of ways that you can use this, right? For SEO, you might want to focus on providing people information. When people go on Google, they're typically searching for information, right? They're looking for, let's say, some tax advice. Can I write off this meal? Can I write off this purchase? Can I write something else off? Who do I send a 1099 to? What do I do here? Having a piece of content that answers those questions and then provides a phone number to talk to someone that's in your area that can answer more questions, more personalized questions for you for free on a free consultation. That's a really good way to use SEO. And if you're, again, local SEO differs from global SEO, right? You're competing against local, and Google, their algorithm is meant to try to give local businesses a benefit when they're working to target local clients, right? And give clients the benefit of seeing local businesses first. So you're going to be able to rank a lot higher for that. And you're going to have a big opportunity. All businesses have a big opportunity locally to rank, even if they can't rank globally and can't compete with, the Avos of the world, the Oscars of the world, other accounting services, right? So let's talk about e-commerce for a sec, right? E-commerce, there's kind of different strategies for big and small ticket purchases. For small ticket purchases, having just a lot of information about, well, really for both, having a lot of information about the product. For small ticket purchases, it's going to be more important to really just have, usually a small ticket purchase, you're going to have a lot of products. To have all those products, have the right code behind them, and just focus on the basics. Whereas for the big ones, you're going to want to use a similar approach to the professional services and have a lot of information on what that product might solve, what kind of benefit, value, features, etc. does that product provide that people might be searching for. Local businesses like restaurants, spas, coffee shops, dry cleaners, barbers, etc. Content isn't going to be as key for them. What's going to be more important is really going to be that Google My Business listing that I mentioned before, and getting reviews on there. For SEO for these kinds of businesses, they don't have a lot of content competition because there's really not a lot of content in a lot of these cases to work in. So Google My Business is really a big piece, and then backlinks we'll talk about shortly. That's going to be something that they're going to really want to focus on. And everyone really wants to focus on backlinks, but in particular, in this area, again, depending on how much competition you have, once you do the basics, you might rank and already be, really happy with your success. But the next step beyond that for these guys is going to be getting some backlinks, getting some press, getting some partners to link to you. And that's what backlinks are. It's links to your website. The spa, depending on what kind of service they do, they might be able to pursue a content approach as well. And then political candidates, large corporations, SaaS companies, content is going to be a big piece. The big piece here is really going to be, it's more of a PR play. And so that's going to be, leveraging content to gain press and leveraging your press to create more content, and then ranking against the press that's being written so that you get shown every time there's press about you, because you also have content that relates to that press, and that way you're building up your website alongside the press, and that way you have the ability to really push forward your message ahead of press sometimes, and be side by side with the press that's out there for your company, so you can manage disasters, and so you can leverage successes. So that's that strategy. All right, planning content. So consumer behavior. At the end of the day, this content is for people. It's not for Google. It's not for the bots. Think about what your customers are searching for and why. What is their purchase intent, if there is one? And if you can, try to think of what people would be searching for if they have a purchase intent, even if they don't know that they have a purchase intent. So, for example, let's say I'm searching for, and this is a really easy one, right? Let's say I'm searching for how to file a trademark. Maybe I'm looking to just understand how to file a trademark, whether it's worth it, whether I can do it myself, all that. And maybe I don't know that I want to hire an attorney right off the bat, but if an attorney happened to have content around that and, made me feel, hey, this trademark is worth it. It's something that I can get done very easily with an attorney, or I can go through 20 something steps and do a lot of research and find out whether my trademark is going to be approved, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and do it myself and spend all this time and something that I've never done before. I might be compelled to use that attorney, right? And again, to take a conversion by doing a free phone call and building a relationship. So that's kind of one of the things you should think of. What might compel them to click on your website, right? So when you're planning content, think about not just what people are searching for and the content that you're providing, and how that relates to purchase intent, but also think about what would they want to click on? What's that title going to look like? What is the content going to look like? The description. How can you tie that to what, if you put yourself in their shoes, what you would want to click on if you were looking for that information? And a really good way to do this is write down just 5 or 6 different ideas for content, and check off these boxes, right? Take a picture of the slide, and just, make sure that your content can check off these boxes, and then write the title, write the, the idea behind the content. Don't write the whole content piece, obviously. Write your call to action, which is write the piece that they're going to see at the end of this content that's going to make them say, yes, I do want to talk to this person, or yes, I do want to come in. Yes, I do want to visit this restaurant. Yes, I do want to, take a step forward towards this business to potentially purchasing something. So that's really a good way to make use of this. And then ultimately, what's going to compel them to make the purchase decision? Trust, price, information. A big piece when making a purchase decision is going to be around information. How much information do you have? And people are actually more comfortable with more information, even if that information is slightly negative, than they would be with less information. Some good psychology behind that. But people have a fear of the unknown, and would rather go with the known evil sometimes. So providing a lot of information on your website about your company, about your process, about people's experience, their first time coming into your dentist, coming into your practice, whatever it is, that's actually really helpful. So consider that, and consider putting that even in your content on that same content page at the bottom as part of your footer or something else. All right, keyword research, really quick. There's a couple of free tools here. There's a couple of paid tools. A great way to do keyword research, a really free way to do keyword research, go on google.com and just start typing in a few things. See your competitors, start typing in a few ideas that you put together, and see what you come up with, and just see what's out there. See, see what's going on. See what other things come up there. If you go into Google Ads, you have to make an account. There's something called Keyword Planner, and you can type in whatever you want, Greenwich chiropractor, and it'll give you a large number of ideas. If you go to Uber Suggest, just type that into Google, it'll pop right up. It's a Neil Patel tool. You'll see what I have here, unless this is SERPstat, sorry. Yeah, this is SERPstat. So, but Uber Suggest will give you a very similar thing here, where it'll actually tell you, some pieces of information about the keywords that you type in and some similar keywords. So it'll give you a little bit of information around what the competition is on PPC, which is paid ads, the cost. If you see cost and you see competition, that's a good thing. That means that people are bidding on this because that's providing them conversion, that's providing them customers. So that might actually be a good avenue to go after. But maybe try to aim for something that costs and has competition but isn't too high if you're starting off, depending on kind of where you are. If you go to Ahrefs or SEMrush, that's going to be a paid platform, but that's going to give you a lot more information. And I won't go too into that, but those are really great tools, and they both have free trials. So if you want to use some of this, and when you're just about to launch, check them out for a free trial. I highly recommend it because it'll just give you so much insight. All right, let's talk about on-page SEO. This is exciting. This is stuff on the website. So if you have a website, you're probably on WordPress or Joomla. One sec. Sorry. Technical. All right. So if you have a WordPress, you're probably if you have a website, you're probably on WordPress or Joomla or Drupal or Shopify or Wix or Squarespace or some other website platform nowadays, right? And all these website platforms have a place where you can enter in different tags and different pieces of information for your website. This is going to be hugely important, and this is the low-hanging fruit when it comes to SEO. So go to whatever platform you're on. You can search in the platform or just look for it. Type in SEO, on-page SEO, technical SEO, meta tags. One of those usually will give you what you're looking for, which is on the right here. Title and meta description, header tags, H1, H2, H3, etc. Site description and site title. The most important thing here is going to be the title, the H1 tag, the site title. Oh, sorry. I already talked about it. So it's really going to be the H1 tag and the site title. So each page is going to have a title, and you might have a site title and site description. The site title sometimes gets appended to your page title. So depending on what you see there, it'll tell you. Make a site title, which should just be your company's name. And then on each individual page, pick a title that does contain some keywords, but is also relevant to what people are searching for when they're looking for your content. Balance it between, really focus on people first. So for example, if someone was looking for how to file a trademark, this site title would probably be how to file a trademark. It wouldn't be, how to file a trademark, comma, IP, comma, intellectual property, comma, trademark attorney, comma, anything else like that. The meta description, think of that as just an opening sentence or two that talks about the information that's going to be on the page. The keywords, you're going to have some keywords if you're talking about the same thing that the title is saying that you're going to talk about. You're going to have keywords that match. So don't worry too much about that, and you'll do well on that. Again, this part of the on-page SEO it's the single most important thing, making sure that you just have a title, a meta description, and H1 tag. The H1 and the title should match. Meta description should just be a couple of introductory sentences. If you have a site title and site description, That's basically if you're lazy and you don't have a title or meta description on a specific page, your site title and site description can be the catch-all. So if you're lazy, at least fill that out. But really, ideally, I mean, if you have a website, a business website, and you have less than 20 pages, you can afford to spend, and if you already have it built out, right, you can afford to spend an hour just to go through and pick a title and description that just, write a couple sentences per page. It's what, 100 sentences, 50 to 100 sentences, 20 to 40 sentences. A title and H1, they're going to match. The header tag, that's actually going to be within the page. The title is going to be in like a little SEO section. So you're going to be able to use different header tags, just like in Microsoft Word, within the page. The H2 through H6 tags, not as important. H1 tag is the most important. From there, the H2 tag is going to be important, and you're going to want to use those for subsections within your page if you have a longer piece of content, or if you just have relevant links or things that you're talking about that you want people to be aware of, and have Google be aware of, that also have importance, those other pages. That's when you should use the H2 tags, and the lower tags kind of go down in importance from there. So again, keyword density, that's going to be, it should come naturally. It should be, your title is just the title of whatever page you're on, and your H1 tag is, again, the title of whatever page you're on. And then your meta description just talks very, very briefly in 1 or 2 sentences what that page is going to be about. And you're going to have those keywords in there, so you won't have to worry about that. If you're using a SEO tool like Yoast on WordPress, it'll have a little keyword density checker that'll tell you how often you use certain keywords on your content. If that keyword density tells you you're doing it very wrong and you're really trying to rank for those keywords, then you do need to go in there and just think about how you might be able to still people first, update your content just slightly to make sure that those keywords are in there in your content just a few extra times. But it shouldn't be something that you start your focus on or that you spend a lot of time worrying about. H2 tags I kind of covered. Internal and external links. So internal links, that's going to be you linking to other pages on your site. So when you link to other pages on your site, the more links that you have and the more prominent and large and higher up on the page, the more important those links are, the more visually important they are, the more that Google's going to think that they're important. So if you're linking to pages on your site that aren't important in your header or in your content over and over again, you should update those. You should really link to the most important and relevant things to the content that you're writing and the most important links on your site. So let's say that your services page is just really important. It has all of your services, lots of reviews, lots of information about your services, and it holds just the most important stuff in your site, right? That service should be on your menu on the top, giving it a lot of importance in Google. You might want to link to those services in the pages in your content. Now, let's say you're talking about a specific service, like I'll try to use a different thing from lawyers and accountants this time. Let's say dentists, right? Let's say you're talking about a root canal. So if you're talking about a root canal, in that content piece, link to that root canal page, because that's going to give that root canal page more value. And that means that when people are searching for root canals on Google, and you have 3 or 4 content pieces, blogs, right, articles of information that people could look for, and they're all pointing to that root canal page, and then that root canal page also has links to those pieces of information, because if people are looking for that service, you want to have links on that service page that says, hey, are you interested in learning more about root canals? Here's 2-3 blog articles, right? 2-3 pieces of helpful information. Having those back and forth links is going to give value to both of those. And it's going to mean that if people are clicking on those on Google, and then going back and forth, Google's going to say, okay, both of these links or all of these links are all important if people are searching for root canals. So all of those links are going to go higher up on Google quicker. And that's going to be how you leverage internal linking to increase your search engine ranking. External links. This is a fun one. So external links are going to be important sometimes, but if you have a resource, an external resource that is important, let's say, for lack of a better one, just attorney, trademark, you're linking out to like the New York, the federal trademark website for something. That's fine, right? And that's a helpful link. And if it's helpful, if you're thinking about your customers first, that's a good external link to have. It doesn't really provide you much value, so it doesn't really matter too much. But if it is helpful to your customer, put it in there, because that is good to have. But you can also think of external links as currency. When I talked earlier very briefly, which I'll talk more about soon, about backlinks and how important those are, when people link to your site, that gives you a lot of value. Let's say when the New York Times links to your site, that's going to give you a huge boost to whatever page they link for, and if it's, and to your whole site really. So if you link out to someone else, let's say you're a yoga instructor and you are friends with a certain chiropractor or a certain physical therapist or a certain nutritionist, and you link out to their site in a blog article or in a partners page, you're giving them a huge boon to their business. So they should thank you. And in turn, you can hopefully negotiate getting a link to your site from these partners, these friends, these affiliates, or if you're writing blogs and you're Googling for information, you come across something that you like from someone who's maybe not necessarily a direct competitor, but is they're in your space, but they're not local, so people wouldn't see them. Let's say they're a chiropractor, right, or orthopedic or something. You might say, hey, I love this. I wrote this and it, covers something that I noticed that you weren't covering in there, but I really wanted to link to this so that people can read your article on this. Perhaps you'd like to link to my site. And I'd love to link to your site. That's a way to use that currency of external links to get links back to your site. Again, the stories for humans, I'm going to keep going back to that, but that's important. And then convert your audience. More traffic is always good because Google does keep track of everything. So whether they come from social, email, whatever, get them to your site. Set up, an email marketing campaign, MailChimp, and many others, I'm blanking right now, are going to be really, really good. In many cases, free when you're starting off to just start building a list and just start sending people to those articles when it's helpful. And you can set up drip campaigns. I won't go too far into that right now, though. All right, sitemap and search console. Hopefully this isn't too technical. I'll try to make it as easy as possible. So like I said on that whole title, meta description and H1 being extremely, extremely important for on-page SEO. In fact, very likely the single most important thing on on-page SEO. Maybe not the single. I mean, I think it's the single most overlooked, lowest hanging fruit on on-page SEO. This is another of the most important things you could do if you want to really start ranking quickly and start and have a good shot at ranking well. Give Google your sitemap. A sitemap is just a XML formatted list. Think of a Word document, but it's formatted in a particular way that just has a link to every link on your site. And it has it organized in case you have, different directories, you have different, sub pages of pages, under services, you have root canals. Under root canals, you have a few, whatever it is, right? Actually, that wasn't the right way to do it, so don't use that. But right, so XML sitemaps. The old school way, use a tool that generates a sitemap for you. Just go here, type in your website, it'll generate a sitemap. You go to Google Search Console, you upload it, and you're done. If you're on WordPress or many of the other platforms, they'll auto-generate a sitemap for you. You just got to search for it. If you're on Yoast, you just got to go to Yoast, go to sitemaps, that's on WordPress, and it'll auto-generate a sitemap. Even if you just use the default, that's fine. If you want to configure it, just take a look and just make sure that if you have any pages that you're not actually using, just get rid of them. If you don't have a blog and you just have a very basic website, which is okay. A lot of small businesses, don't have a blog and really shouldn't have a blog because they're not going to spend time on it. That's okay. As long as your main pages are, are technically optimized, you have, the listing and everything, Google Map listing. Just submit that sitemap and only include those, and don't include, your empty blog. So Google Search Console, this is where you submit it to Google. Bing has a Search Console, so you can submit it to other search engines, but Google's the single most important one. And it covers such a good amount of it that this is really where you should focus. If you have your sitemap on your footer, if you just have a basic link to it, Google will eventually pick it up, so you can skip this step. But if you haven't been picked up yet, if you're a new business, if you just have no SEO yet, it's going to take a long time for Google to pick you up naturally. So you really do want to just take this extra step. You make an account and then you link your site. This is a little bit complicated, so I'll try to walk you through the quickest way to do this. The easiest way to do this here is either upload an HTML file if you can, or use your DNS record. If you have a provider like GoDaddy or any other DNS provider, most of them let you call them. Most of them will let you call them and say, hey, if you're not technical, hey, I need to just add this. It'll tell you right here what you need to add. It's just going to be a text record that says a weird verification code for Google. You tell them that, and it'll take you maybe 10, 15 minutes on the phone, probably 15. And then it'll be verified. Then you can submit that. All right, URL structure. I'll start going a little bit quicker because I don't have too much time left. So this is bad. I'm looking at Shopify users here. You don't want to have extra words, extra folders in your page structure. You want to have it very simple. You don't want to have this HTML at the end. You want to use all lowercase characters. You want to use dashes like this, not underscores, definitely not spaces or anything weird like, weird characters. You want to use semantically descriptive URLs. So some really cool, cool potato. Dentist, just / root canal for the service. If you're doing a blog article, when to see a dentist about a root canal, something like that, right? That's a good URL. You don't have to have the extra words. You can get rid of them, and you should. You don't want this to be too long. The closer to the base, the more important the link is. So if you have really important links, you don't want to you don't want to make folders and put them deeper in your site. You want to keep them very high up. digitalchair.com/services. You don't want to have digitalchair.com/ something else and then services if services is like a main page in your site. And make sure your URL, this is the number, this ties right back into title and H1. Make sure that your title and H1 tags tie very closely to your URL. Those three things should be almost exactly the same. Obviously, there's not going to be ands, it's going to be lowercase, but these three things should match very, very closely. Multimedia, images and video. I'll go over this very quickly. Alt tags. Use alt tags for informative images. Check out the WAI or Ally 11Y if you want, but this cut off. Okay, I think I'm back on. All right, are we back on?
I'm on post attendee. I'm not seeing.
Are you seeing
it? I'm hearing you.
Are you hearing me?
But I'm not seeing anything.
All right, let me
start sharing again.
Yeah, let me share my screen right now. Can you see me?
Yes.
All right, sorry about that, everyone. We had some Wi-Fi issues. All right, images, not very, very high priority. I'll skip over it. Video, super important, maybe the king of SEO. If you have videos, if you decide to make quick videos about your services, videos convert very well. Sight, sound, motions to SOMO. It's like an old advertising piece. Anything with sight, sound, motion is going to convert more than just with sight or just with motion or just with sound. If you choose to do this, you can record a very quick video on your phone for each of your services, for each of your blogs, for whatever you want on your site, and put it on YouTube and link it on your site and vice versa. And that's going to give you a huge boost in SEO. Google loves YouTube because they own them. and linking those two will just help you dramatically. I already covered internal and external linking. Let's talk about off-page SEO, the jungle, as I like to call it. Again, Google My Business. That is the most important for local businesses piece of off-page SEO. You can manage your pictures, your videos, your website link, your directions, hours, phone, reviews, Q&A, and other pieces of information. Integrate with your site, right? If you want to really get the most out of it, just either link out to your page or embed your Google Map listing in your contact page, and then obviously have your website linked in your Google Map listing. You can use it for special hours, events, offers, promos, products. It's a really great resource. They just added the special hours, events, promos, products in the past several months. Take advantage of that because most of your competitors probably aren't yet. And if you're a local business, your competitors are probably not using this stuff. So really take advantage of the extra stuff. It's very simple, but at least, get your basic info in there and start getting reviews. This helps with your ranking. There are, ranking indicators that are going to be taken from here when Google is looking at locally ranking your site and your listing. Reviews are a piece of that. Having your address the same on your website as on your Google My Listing and having that embedded and linked, that's going to be another piece of that. So ask for reviews. Make it easy for people. Send them the link directly to the review page. This is what I do. I have a little page that I send people to get reviews. I don't do it as much as I should. I only have 7 reviews. I've almost never done it, but I do this for clients and they use it a lot more than I do. So shoe collar son, right? So all right, backlinks, press and friends. Again, I already mentioned that a good way to do this is to get friends to give you links. Press is obviously an easy one. Get them to link you. If you have any press written about you, talk to them, ask them to link to your site. And again, that's going to get you, that's the number one most important part of off-page ranking is going to be backlinks. Unless you're local, in which case Google My Business is going to be right up there. All right, let's skip to technical SEO. This is probably the most important thing. If Google can't search you, if your robots text is disallowed, you're just not going to be found at all. Same with if you just have pages as no index. Most sites will default to being okay with this, so you don't have to worry about that too much. Canonicalization. Don't have 4 different versions of your URL. Go to Google Search Console and choose one and have everything go to there, or in your WordPress, or talk to your developer. This one's a little bit technical, but choose HTTPS for everything, and choose either www or just your domain, your straight domain. If you migrate, if you have an old site and you're moving to a new site, make sure you redirect the old pages to the new pages. Otherwise, you're going to lose that SEO juice if the pages aren't the same URL. Speed. Google's going to penalize you if you don't have speed. If you have extra plugins, stuff like that, you're going to want to remove plugins you're not using, or use a plugin that helps optimize your speed if you're on WordPress. And then I'm going to wrap up in the next 30 seconds or so. AMP, mobile friendly. Have a mobile friendly website, or you can use Google AMP. I don't recommend Google AMP. Mobile friendly is way easier, and I highly recommend it. Make sure you have a security certificate, and make sure that you have the green lock on the top, because if you don't, even if one single image or one single asset on your site is not secure, your whole site is not secure. All right, let's see. Easy ways, optimize your images. That's how you can gain speed. That is the single most important thing. Here's a bunch of different links that you can use to optimize your images, and you can check that on Google just to make sure and see what images need to be optimized. Security, Let's Encrypt is free. Most hosts, except for GoDaddy, will give you free SSL. It's not called SSL anymore, it's called TLS, but HTTPS, that's what it is. Rich snippets and structured data. A friend of mine actually got this one for convertible notes. If you use structured data, and here's Google's link to learn about that, you can get really pretty rich snippets like this on the top of Google, and that's the other thing that can appear on the Google SERP. OG and social sharing tags. I'm going to skip this for now. I'm going to skip that. I already talked about this a little bit. And I'll wrap up with this last piece. For images, use Creative Commons Zero license images when you can. That means that they're legal. Don't use Google image search. I've had lots of clients come to me that used images in the past that they found on Google image searches like free licenses, and those are not verified by anyone. It's just Google searching and doing their best. And they've gotten multiple thousands of dollars fines and stuff like that. Avoid those. Read purchase stock licenses from Getty or Adobe or everywhere carefully. You might not be able to use it the way you want to. Just read it carefully and make sure you know what you're doing there. Libel, talk about competitors carefully. When in doubt, talk to an attorney, and don't forget a privacy policy. California's Protection Act and GDPR and other policies are coming quickly for small businesses. And that's it. That's a link to my website. If you have any extra questions, go there. You can ask a question. If you want a free SEO site audit, go there. You can drop in your website and go over those. And that's it. Thanks. I'm open for questions now.
Okay. Jamie, thanks very much. And unfortunately, we did have a bit of a glitch there. We had to rush at the end, but we do have a few minutes here for questions. And maybe I'll go back to some of the early ones. We have one here. When talking about Facebook ads, do you recommend Facebook ads for localized advertising, or is there a way to localize Google ads?
You can definitely localize Google ads. You can target by location. You can go as little as, I think, 1 kilometer on Google. You can go as little as, I think, 1 kilometer, but it might be a mile on Facebook. Use either one. Use whatever fits your business best. Facebook ads, again, you're targeting, and you're going to have, you get to choose by demographics and psychographics, versus Google ads. You can choose by demographics, psychographics, but you can also you can go for intent. So if someone's searching for something, you can show in Google search ads, a link that is very relevant to what they're searching for, and just skip the whole line and not worry about SEO and pay for it.
Okay, thanks. A couple here on when you're talking about meta descriptions. I'll give them both to you. The first one was, does a meta description show on your web page, or is it behind the screen? And then there's another comment there that this person felt a little bit lost when you're talking about that, and
Sure.
and wants to know where to enter that information. And they use GoDaddy for their hosting, and would the info be on their site?
Sure. So if you're using GoDaddy for your hosting, it depends on what platform you're using. If you're using WordPress or if you're using GoDaddy's like page builder, if you're either way, if you're using some sort of a page builder, you need to look for SEO or something that I mentioned in that first slide. Where is it? Where I said look for, where is that one? Look for SEO or look for the tags. This one. Look for meta description. Search for it in the tool that you're using. Meta description is behind the scenes, so it's going to look like. Let's see if I can find it really quick. It's going to look like. There it is. It's going to look like this, right? This little text right here, that is the meta description. It's just like a sentence or two. Number 1 digital partners for business websites is on. That's what you're going to have. If you're using WordPress, it's going to be in Yoast, but it's actually on the individual page. If you scroll to the bottom of the page that you're editing, in the page, not in the Yoast platform, Yoast will have a little like plugin part in every single page where you can enter a meta description. You can also do it in bulk in the Yoast tool itself. Hopefully that helps.
Another question. If your website is only an outbound brochure, it doesn't collect any inbound information like names or emails, Do you need this secure web page? And as a small business, how often do you recommend putting fresh content on your site?
Sure. Again, a lot of small businesses don't need to put content on their site. They can just, make sure that they have all the informational pages of their site. Maybe have like a compelling call to action, a free consultation, something like that, and have a good Google map listing with reviews. And then they don't have to, constantly add content, because a lot of, people aren't going to do content. If you do, you're going to be ahead of the curve, obviously, but most people don't, and your competition isn't, maybe. So, yeah, you don't necessarily have to do that. And SSL, I would 100% recommend for every single business, no matter what. You'll be penalized heavily for that. And in fact, if you have clients that are, let's say, working for a big corporation, let's say they work at like Visa, MasterCard, Amex, or some IBM or whatever, they're going to have a firewall in their institution that's going to prevent them from going to insecure websites, because it's just a huge security risk. So they're just not going to be able to see your website, which means they're going to go to the next website that they can see. However, something that you might not need to do is maybe you don't need to do a privacy policy. If you're just not taking any information, and you know that your web host isn't taking any information either, and you're not targeting ads or anything, then you don't have to worry too much about that, because that's for if you do take information.
The question here on videos: what would be the best way to handle videos, since they are typically heavy? And what would be the right format, length, way to link them to the website without losing speed access?
Yeah, really great question. So they are kind of heavy. If you take videos on your phone, you buy like a $10 tripod, $12 tripod on Amazon or something. You can download YouTube and just upload it right to YouTube on Wi-Fi, obviously. And then YouTube will handle everything. I mean, you don't have to worry about bandwidth or hard drive space or anything else, because YouTube will host the video for you. You can embed it right on your website for free off YouTube. If you go to that YouTube video and you click share, there's going to be an embed option. You just copy and paste that code right into your website and drop it in, and it automatically shows the video. And it's not heavy on your website, because YouTube is super, super optimized, and they're handling it externally and securely. And that'll just get you on the right track.
Maybe one last question here. Any suggestions that are unique for service-based business that doesn't have brick and mortar?
Sure. Shoot, I wish I knew which service-based business. Yeah, I mean, for the Google My Business listing, you don't have to have a store location. You just have to have a mailing address, and you can just put a range where you do business in. So if you're doing, whether it's remote phone call, or we're doing door to door, like let's say you're an electrician or something like that, you can go on Google My Business and set something up where you just set up a range. Let's say you just work, between Greenwich and Bridgeport and up to Newtown. I mean, that's kind of a little far, but you can just set up that range right on Google My Business, and then Google will, optimize for that and give you the best they can in terms of search for that area.
Great. Well, that's all the time we have questions for. And what I'd like to do is remind people, we get a couple of questions already asking for a copy of the presentation, but just remind you that the webinar has been recorded and will be up on our website, fairfieldcounty.score.org, within the next day or two. Our next webinar will be 2 weeks from today, on Tuesday, October 22nd. The topic is professional employer organizations, solutions for small business owners. And again, I want to remind you that free counseling is available from SCORE. You can use the link on the screen, or click on our website on the request counseling link that's there. And we'd also appreciate if you could fill out your evaluations that have been sent at the end of the webinar. They really help us going forward. So on behalf of SCORE, thank you all for attending today's live webinar, and special thanks to Jaime Urteaga for presenting today, and have a nice day, everyone.
Thank you. Probably make that presentation available on the website too.